Now, the last thing that Jewish Labor politician Josh Burns wants to do is preference the Greens in his seat of Macnamara. But it seems he hasn't been able to get permission from Albanese or Labor headquarters so far. Now, The Australian has reported on a leaked audio recording where Josh Burns tells voters to give him time and to watch this space when asked if he'd deny preferences to the Greens. Well, joining me now is the Liberal candidate up against Josh Burns in Macnamara, Benson Saulo. Benson, good to have you on the show. Now, this is an unusual seat that you're running in from a demographics perspective because, yes, there's a large Jewish population, but also many Greens voters. So how do you deal with this when you're campaigning?
Well, thanks so much, Sharri, for having me on. And our team's been out since July, knocking on doors, meeting with people at the shops and understanding what are the key issues impacting people. And right now, across Macnamara, cost of living is the #1 issue that's really impacting household budgets. It's impacting businesses right across the electorate. And the second one, which most people would consider it being a state issue, is really crime and community safety. But a part of that is also anti-Semitism, which we've seen rear its ugly head since October 7th here in Australia.
Yeah, we have indeed. Now, preferences with the Greens has become quite a big issue in Macnamara. And Benson, last night at the community forum you were at with Josh Burns, he was asked about whether he'd preference the Greens last. Here's what he had to say.
I really like Benson. He's a nice guy, but he's not the person I'm worried about winning this seat. The only people who can win this seat are me or the Greens. And if the Greens form into the top two, then think about the people who make up this electorate. Young, progressive people from Elwood, from St Kilda, from Windsor, from South Melbourne, from Southbank. Now, we are a proud and large Jewish community, but we're only 10% of the electorate of Macnamara.
So, Benson, what's your response to what Josh said? Do you think we are looking at a Greens MP winning Macnamara here?
Well, the only way that a Greens MP can win if the Jewish community and the broader community vote for a party that actually is preferencing the Greens, and that party right now is Labor. And at that forum, and there was over 400 people there eagerly waiting on Josh Burns to confirm that he was not going to preference the Greens. And unfortunately, he has been, like he has been over the last 18 months, non-committal to actually preferencing the Greens last and actively calling out their open and active anti-Semitism that we've seen continuously being shared right across the community. So it continues to ask the question, the community continues to ask the question, will Josh show leadership within his own party and push back against Albanese and push back against Benny Wong and push back against other leaders within his own party to stand up for his community and to put this the concerning and anti-Semitic and divisive Greens last.
And it seems we don't know where this is going to land, but it seems at this point he hasn't been allowed to put the Greens last. He's also been in a very difficult position, Josh Burns. He's Jewish, he supports Israel, but he's sitting within the Albanese government. Do you think he's done enough to defend the Jewish community and fight back against the Albanese government's hostility towards Israel?
Look, Josh is an important voice within Labor, but unfortunately what we've seen is that Labor has actively abandoned and walked away from the Jewish community. We've seen that at the UN, we've seen that federally, we've seen this playing out on our streets and across our university campuses. And so while I do applaud Josh Burns' efforts internally, clearly he doesn't have the ear of the Prime Minister in highlighting the impacts of anti-Semitism. And now, when I speak to the community, they are disappointed, they're frustrated, but also they're scared. They're scared of what the future for their children and their community look like when we are seeing unchecked hate speech and anti-Semitism across Melbourne CBD, across Jewish schools in Melbourne, and across the community more broadly. So the community is eagerly waiting on Josh to show leadership, to push back and to put the Greens last.